A High Court in Nakuru sentenced Jen Muthoni and her accused Issac Njoroge alias Gikuyu 30 years in prison, each for the brutal murder of former KIIRU Boys principal Solomon Mwangi. While delivering the judgment, Justice Joel Ngugi said that the sentence will run from the date the two were arraigned in November 2016 for Muthoni and December the same year for Njoroge. The sentence came after their conviction on April 22nd and mitigation hearing on May 18th. In his ruling, Justice Ngugi that the aggravating circumstances in which the murder was conducted by the accused persons for a very sentence to match the ruthlessness of the murder that had effect on the victim and the society. He noted that the 30 years custodial sentence is the only suitable way of expressing society's condemnation of the conduct of the accused persons and deter similar actions in future. Noted by Justice Ngugi, the picture that emerges from the evidence is one of the depraved and vengeful spouse, not an accidental killer who poorly responds spontaneously to immediate circumstances. Both of the accused persons had many opportunities to walk back from their plans, but with each opportunity, they chose the path of death. The court further noted that Muthoni was so intent on having her husband killed to a point that she had arranged for several times to have him murdered. In her mitigation, Muthoni had pleaded with the court for a non-custodial sentence after maintaining her innocence. She pleaded with the court for leniency, claiming to be the sole breadwinner for her children who also needed a guidance.
One thing I'll assure you that I loved him. He loved me. We loved each other. We cared for each other. And that was the first reason as to why this marriage had to come in. And I would describe my husband. He was a very good guy. He was a gentleman. I say he was a gentleman. He was never hostile. Someone was not hostile. He was a good guy. And we lived in harmony. There's something I loved about my husband. He was an open-minded man. On 20th of December 2016, while still in court, I asked for a court order from the court. And I requested the court that I be escorted to KIIRU Boys. To be escorted to KIIRU Boys because we had documents, very sensitive documents in KIIRU Boys' home, where my husband had carried some titles and there are things to do with that one. And I requested the court, can I be allowed to go to, escorted to go to KIIRU Boys to take important documents? It's in record. And the prosecution objected and said no. You cannot, because they were saying it's a sin of crime. How, I don't know. And they said you cannot go there. Choose a representative from your family, plus your lawyer, so that they can also go with the CID. Okay? I was not consulted. My relatives were not consulted. My wakili was not consulted. But the CID, in the company of my in-laws, against the court order, went to KIIRU Boys and took those important documents and titles that were there and all those that are ours. Even to date, as I talk, they have never returned. I asked, they came to my police station on around 24th December 2016. My two sisters said no. So we talked and they told me, by the way, to be in the KIIRU Boys, we've taken everything. I asked them, how? What? That is not what the court order said. I'm the one who's supposed to be choosing the person. It's not about in-laws. It's about my property, my husband and my family. They say tumechukua ni zetu. So am I telling a lie? I'm not telling a lie. Nikawambia tafadhali, whatever you've taken belongs to my family, belongs to the children. Deceased, your brother, your own brother, akona watoto. Hizo vitu ni za watoto wa brother. Can you return? And now to date, they have never. So I'm not alleging something that is not true. So I'm not using the platform to say what is not true. I complained in court. I raised that complaint in court. And it can be a court what has happened. You see? Even this time round when I was asking for a court order to go and withdraw, I also raised it in court. It's in record. And I asked for a court order to go withdraw money so that I pay school fees for my children. And I'm escorted by this place, Nangata. And I really appreciate Nangata has been very of great help. They are very human. And I was escorted only to go to Equity Bank, only to go to Cooperative Bank, the same account, and my sister had withdrawn. Am I alleging this around that are not there? They are true to the one.
Okay.
Yeah. So we might not use it, but just the fact that I'm telling you.
So would you say you've lost everything?
Kinda. You'd imagine that they might not know that I am aware. That we have, there are those people that agents that where we had bought some our property. They were approaching those agents, demanding for those documents that belonged to my husband. They had. In fact, one of them even told me when I happened to get the number of that agent, there's a property that we were in the process of purchasing. And they told me, by the way, do you have a sister-in-law called Lucy? And that person who doesn't know my family. Lucy, yes, she was here with principles of some principles of Morana, and they were demanding that they want to take the issues, the land, whatever plot that your husband was buying. And I told them, no, you cannot take. I know even though the deceased is already gone, he has children. His property belongs to the children. So everywhere they were going to do that. So I'm not alleging things that are not there. Assuming whatever they thought about me, but these kids remained very innocent. They've always been innocent, isn't it?
Yes.
What have affected me most is that they decided to go to take the property that we had had so hard away from the children. The money we had saved, for example, I didn't trust my sister-in-law so much. So I told you I brought them together. And my sister was a hustler, she didn't have a job. And I took her to buy and I put her in a hustle. And I told my husband, why don't you involve our sister-in-law? Because me, we have a family account. Why don't you involve her to be our signatory? But you can imagine, when I needed that money, which we had worked so hard in the both accounts, Equity Bank and Cooperative Bank, to pay for the school fees of my children, note that there's no financial implication again, besides emotional. After the death of my husband, there's emotional part of it and there's financial implication. Because by then, I'll be very frank, my husband is the one who was paying school fees for my children. He had taken responsibility. I was not paying a single cent. He was paying school fees. Yet I'm having my job. Niko na kazi. But he was saying like, I'm the father and I have to pay school fees for my kids. I used to help him in primary school because primary school was a boarding school and it was paying a little money. But when it came to secondary, he said, I take over responsibility of the school fees of the children. So you can imagine the implication it had with the death of my husband. So you have to carry their responsibility. And now we have this money. I've asked for a court order to go to the bank so that I clear for 2 years school fees for my children because I knew we had money, because I could not have access to my husband's money. I could not by that time access to my money because there were procedures. And you can imagine going to the bank and find that not a single cent has remained in that account. She withdrew everything. And when I asked her, she said that even I complained in court, nothing was done. And even today, even after that, she talked. Something I like to say that I love those kids very much. And I really appreciate them because they stood with me even during that trial, this trying moment. Even the same study with me because they believe in me. These kids, if it were not for them, maybe I'll be I don't know who I'll be dead or something like that. They have given me the reason to smile every day. They have given me the reason to fight every day for justice for my husband and my family. I've loved to read the Word of God so much. And what the problem we have is that we like judging people so much. Judging, without even knowing who we're talking about. And judging maliciously. So it's good to, before you say anything, it's also good for you to first of all ask yourself, what are you talking about? Do I really know what I'm talking about?
Her daughter, John Valentine Mbuthi, had also requested the court to forgive her mother, saying she did not believe that she was responsible for her father's death, but the prosecution urged the court to impose a maximum penalty on the suspects, whom it said had shown no remorse for their heinous action. Justice Ngugi ruled that I am of the view that a custodial sentence of 30 years for each of the two is appropriate sentence, which shall run from the date they were arraigned. After the judgment, the suspect's lawyer, Francis Njaja, applied to be supplied with the copies of the ruling, as he intends to challenge the sentence of the Court of Appeal. Welcome. This is the story of Jane Mbuthi and the mother and the murder of her husband, former KIIRU Boys principal.